You can stand in the middle of certain streets in New York and look at identical rows of houses split by an invisible county line. On one side, you are in Nassau County. On the other, you are in Queens. For buyers shopping in border neighborhoods like Floral Park or Bellerose, looking at houses directly across the street from each other reveals wildly different monthly costs on the listing sheets. For a $700,000 home, Nassau taxes $14,500. Queens pays $4,800. That's a $10,000 gap. The cause? Nassau's effective tax rate is 2.08%, while Queens is just 0.69%. When a prospective buyer sees these raw numbers pop up on a listing site, the instinct is to restrict their search to the Queens side of the border to capture those $10,000 annual savings. These property tax savings are a matter of state law. However, the true financial benefit is often an illusion masking a complex web of other costs. Crossing that county line to chase a low property tax bill introduces immediate income penalties and lifestyle compromises that can consume the initial discount. Single-family to three-family homes in New York City are designated as Class 1 properties, a category heavily protected by state tax law. The first legal protection is a suppressed assessment ratio. New York City only taxes Class 1 properties based on 6% of their actual market value. This dual line chart shows the second protection at work. Even if a home's market value skyrockets, the assessed value used for taxes is restricted by a strict 6% annual growth cap. Staying on this chart, we see the final cumulative safeguard. The city caps assessed value growth at 20% over any 5-year period, which neutralizes the tax impact of rapid market spikes. When a long-term owner sells a property, these suppressed assessments don't reset to market rate all at once. The new buyer inherits the protected tax base. Because buyers are essentially purchasing a grandfather tax shield, they pay a premium upfront. The median single-family home in Queens costs $770,000, nearly $260,000 more than the Nassau median of $505,000. This system rewards buyers who hold on to their property for decades, while those who sell quickly often find they paid a purchase premium without staying long enough for the tax protections to offset it. The moment you purchase a home in Queens, your primary residence changes, triggering new legal tax requirements based on your zip code. New York City levies a mandatory municipal income tax on its residents, ranging from roughly 3.07% up to 3.87%, depending on your bracket. To see how this impacts the math, we can look at a hypothetical dual-income household earning $200,000 a year. This waterfall chart maps their financial reality. They start with a strong positive balance, capturing that $10,000 property tax discount by buying on the Queens side of the border. But the chart immediately adjusts downward. Applying the municipal tax rate to their $200,000 household income creates a $7,000 penalty payable to the city. The remaining bar shows the actual financial result. After the income tax penalty is assessed, the household is left with just $3,000 in true net savings. For these households, the tax obligation simply shifts from the property bill to the payroll deduction. Securing that remaining $3,000 net savings requires the buyer to accept tangible lifestyle sacrifices regarding physical space. This scale comparison illustrates the land deficit. A median single-family lot in Nassau County offers 7,500 square feet of space. The median Class 1 property in Queens sits on roughly 2,500 square feet. You pay less in property taxes because you are purchasing roughly 1/3 of the land. The second major lifestyle compromise involves exactly how those property taxes fund the local education system. Nassau County uses a traditional suburban model. Districts are clearly defined, consistently funded, and spend between $30,000 and $50,000 per pupil to maintain overall district quality. New York City spends about $36,000 per pupil, but the allocation is parcel-specific. Quality varies drastically street by street, meaning your specific school zoning requires intense, hyper-localized research. Choosing Queens means trading wide suburban acreage and predictable school districts for urban density and localized school hunting. The decision between Nassau and Queens comes down to a direct trade-off. You balance income tax against property tax and yard space against assessment caps. This decision tree flowchart maps out the optimal paths. We start at the top with a high-earning buyer profile, a household bringing in over $200,000 a year, looking at their space requirements. Following the yes path for buyers who prioritize traditional suburban acreage and consistent school districts, the recommendation terminates firmly at buying in Nassau. The income tax hit in Queens is too high to justify the smaller lot. Resetting the flowchart, we look at the alternative path. This maps moderate-earning households who intend to hold their property for over a decade. Because their income tax penalty is lower, the compounding benefits of the protected tax assessment makes buying in Queens the mathematically superior choice. But these variables shift depending on exactly which street you are standing on. The utility of the land changes by the lock. Navigating this specific border friction requires a guide. Local experts like Clara Okachekwu actively work both sides of the county line. Her dual market expertise allows buyers to map their exact household income tax realities directly against the specific school zonings of individual parcels. Successful border market buying requires engineering a strategy based on a household's specific balance sheet, rather than just filtering for the lowest tax bill on a search tool.